Hey, do you ever feel like you're not in control of your life? Like there are things that you get caught up in that you just can't stop doing? This is Tad Fulford with Rise Up in Real Estate, and today I want to talk to you about 5 things that you can do in order to take back control of your life. So the way that it looks for most of us is we fall into a habit of eating something that we shouldn't, or watching too much of something, like we get on a Netflix binge, or we get sucked into the black hole of social media, or we fall off the wagon for exercise, or we might just talk gossip on the phone too much, or all the things maybe that this world throws at us that we get distracted by. We get sucked away, and before you know it, we're not productive. We're not reaching the potential that we could, and we're not reaching and expecting the goals that we have set for ourselves. So today I want to give you 5 things that you need to do in order to take back control of those things. Number 1, you need to first admit that you need to. You have to admit that you need to. You got to admit that you have a problem. You got to say to yourself, oh gosh, I do sometimes get off the straight and narrow. I do get distracted by social media. I do get distracted by gossip or eating the wrong things or not exercising. You have to admit it. You have to get quiet. And you have to get really serious with yourself and you say, this is a problem for me. I'm ready to handle it. That's the first thing that you need to do. The second thing you need to do is you need to identify what your areas are. Identify your wayward thoughts. Maybe for you, it's diet. Maybe if you walk into the pantry at the wrong time, or you open the refrigerator at the wrong time, or you munch while you cook, speaking from experience here. Maybe these are things that you deal with, but you need to, number 2, identify what your wayward thoughts are, the wayward ways, the things that get you off of the straight and narrow. Just identify them. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just identify it and say, this is one of my issues, and maybe write it in a notebook, and over a week or so, figure out what your issues are. Once you've done that, the third thing that you need to do is you need to look really hard at your systems and your schedule. Set a system and schedule that will allow you to not get off the straight and narrow. Here's an example of that. Social media is a big one. How many of you, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing that you do after you've shut off your alarm, if you use one, is you go straight to social media and you look at what happened overnight on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and you just want to see what is going on. And before you know it, an hour has passed. And you're a little bit behind getting ready. You might have to skip the gym. You might have to rush your breakfast more than you want. You won't have to get to have that introspective cup of coffee. You just get ahead of yourself, and before you know it, your whole day is upside down. Well, if you set a system or a schedule such that you can figure out that trigger, that if you pick up that phone and start looking at social media or flip the TV on and watch news or watch the news on your phone before you do the important things in your life, then you have the problems. Maybe that is an important thing in your life, and I don't want to discount that. If that's how you want to spend your mornings, good for you. But if you feel like it's a distraction or doesn't keep you on the straight and narrow towards productivity, then what you have to do is set a system or a schedule such that whenever your alarm goes off in the morning, you immediately do something else. Like you immediately go and grab a glass of water. You get out of bed and go get a glass of water from the kitchen, or you go get your cup of coffee, or you go right to the gym and you do not pass go. You don't do things in your phone. You don't go to your email. Maybe you lock your phone until a certain time in the morning, but set systems and schedules to help you, because we are creatures that like to be entertained. We are creatures that like the feeling of eating the wrong things. We like the feeling of euphoria that we get when we look sometimes at social media, at the funnies and at the dances. You have to stop those triggers. You have to set something that will not allow you to get there. So that's the third thing that you need to do. Number 4, and this is probably my favorite one, is you need to get in a habit of taking every thought captive. Those of you that have been watching my videos for a while know that I'm a Bible-believing person, and the Bible in Corinthians says that you need to take every thought captive and make it obedient. For you, as you go throughout your day, I want you to get, after you've set up the systems and habits, you'll have less of these moments. But when you have a moment of crossroads or a choice that you have to make, or something that slips into your head like you know that you should not be a part of, then you take it captive and you, in your mind, draw a picture of putting it in a box and putting it on a shelf. For me, it's diet. So if I have a situation where I know there's something in the pantry that I shouldn't be eating, number 1, it'd be better not to have it in the pantry. That would be a system or a thing that I could do that would make it so I wouldn't be able to get it even if I went in there. Second thing I need to do is when I think, oh, that so-and-so is in the pantry, I need to take that thought captive, put it in a box, realize the pantry is not a good place for me to be at that moment, put it on the shelf and move on to the next thing. So number 4, take all your thoughts and start taking them captive and make them obedient to the things that you want to accomplish. The final thing that you need to do in order to figure out how to take back control of your thoughts is, remember this, you admit that you have a problem. Number two, you identify the wayward thoughts. Number three, you set up systems and schedules to help you with this. Number four, you take all your thoughts captive that want to lead you astray. And the fifth and final thing, and very, very, very important in this whole system, is celebrate the victories, celebrate the wins. Maybe journal the things that you accomplish, that you are successful in. Write these things down and celebrate, because as you celebrate and as you share these things, they will become easier to do because you've rewarded yourself and you've celebrated the little milestones in your life. So this is Tad Fulford with Rise Up in Real Estate, and I hope this video today helps you take control of your thoughts and eventually helps you rise up.